this is my daughter, Brianna, and you're 6 years old now?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and a few years ago, when you were 16 months, we found out that you had cancer, and we had to take you to the hospital. Do you remember that?
No.
That's good. She had a germ cell tumor. It was a stage 4, and it had gone into her lungs. They said, well, we can give her this chemotherapy. So that evening they gave her the chemotherapy. We noticed right away that the tumor was shrinking. So we were probably in the hospital 80 days. It wasn't easy. And I'm glad she doesn't remember a lot of it. But now we don't have to go back for anything. We're done.
Thanks to advances in research, more and more people survive cancer. The American Cancer Society launched its research grants program in 1946. Since then, more than $3.4 billion has been invested in research, with rich dividends. Society-funded investigators have contributed to most of the major advances in cancer research.
The research program is one type of activity the American Cancer Society does to help it accomplish its ultimate mission, which is to eliminate cancer as a major health problem. The Cancer Society funding fits in a very, very important space within the research spectrum. And most of our funding for our research grants goes to scientists, to researchers who are at very early stages of their careers.
Getting funded early on in a fellowship or as a young faculty member is important, not only to support your salary for the time you're spending doing research, but also to fund the project itself. A lot of remarkable things happen because one individual decides that he or she is going to solve a problem and comes up with something that is going to help us break through to a new level of care, a new level of therapy.
What I wanted to do was to work on viruses that cause cancer in people. In 1973, there was no compelling evidence that Epstein-Barr virus causes cancers. We now know that Epstein-Barr virus causes 6 different kinds of cancers in people. We've also discovered other human tumor viruses. These tumor viruses cause more than 1 million cancer deaths a year, so what we're trying now to do are develop practical means to inhibit the virus from being maintained in the tumor cell so the tumor cell will die.
Unlike most other funding organizations, the American Cancer Society supports scientists who are just beginning their careers. Allowing young investigators to test novel ideas has led to breakthroughs and new treatments.
There was a doctor in Indiana studying this chemotherapy regimen for germ cell tumors. Before he figured his chemotherapy regimen out, 95% of the people who got this form of cancer died. Today, over 90% of the people live. The American Cancer Society gave him the money to figure that out.
It's not cheap to do research. It takes money for the supplies, the equipment that we need, the personnel. Research is labor intensive. It takes people working at benches, doing the work and actually generating the data. It goes to pay the postdoctoral fellows, who are actually the future leaders in the field. As technology has evolved, it's become much more expensive. And funding is critical to the advancement of research.
You know, when you've finished all your medical school and, 3 years of internal medicine, 4 years of hematology oncology, and maybe you've spent an extra year in the lab, the draw to private practice, to pay back your loans, to do that is huge. If we in research want to keep bringing some people through this pipeline, if people want research, it's going to have to come from donors.